Did you have any questions, free time?
Yes, I have tried yesterday, I think in the evening, the closer look to the key app. It works very fine, and I think it looks general very interesting, and I think exactly what it's need for many people. What I wanted to know is for the private keys of the key app. If they also use MPC or friend for it, or the own thing from Solana network.
Uh, I think it's kind of like a regular wallet app, like MetaMask, but it's on the Solana network. It's said that it's non-custodial, which means that
Okay.
you have to create a seed phrase or something, I guess, and a password. Um, I mean, it's kind of like if MetaMask just integrated Renbridge, or it integrated that you can deposit Bitcoin into their wallet and it gets minted, etc. So it's not a Ren application in that sense. It's a Solana application built by a Solana team that added the Ren integration for Bitcoin, so people can deposit Bitcoin into the Solana network. They could
Oh,
have,
okay. That's only
yeah,
for Bitcoin. That's all.
yeah. I think that's the primary. Uh,
Maybe Dogecoin.
yeah, I mean, if their users want Dogecoin, they could add that probably because it's the same kind of contracts and all.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, then that's okay. That's for Bitcoin, but yes, can also be nice.
I mean, Key App is a completely, it's just a partner that we talk to. We haven't been developing anything on that application. It's all them.
Yeah, it's only for Bitcoin to bring it in the key app.
Yeah.
Sorry for the trouble.
So you hear everything well now?
Yep, all good. That was my bad.
Oh,
Or
nice.
Uh, um, so, quick question, and you're going to get a lot of this, and I'm sure you're tired of hearing about it already. And I saw some commentary on it in the general chat, but in terms of the relationship with Alameda, and some of these rumors going around about FTX, um, most of which I think is probably FUD, but at the same time, where there's smoke, there's potentially fire. What does that look like if you had to like blow out a worst case scenario and say see Alameda stop its support of Ren Labs, like what would that mean for you all?
Ren Labs would continue without Alameda in that case, but I really don't think that all of this is like a real risk at the moment. Anyway, like, kind of looks like Binance is just throwing shit at them because they're mad, and based sort of on misleading info. Um, they don't know. I mean, Alameda hasn't published their actual balance sheets. Uh, Maybe some people at CoinDesk got access to a small portion of it, which definitely seems like it doesn't include everything because they have more assets than just FTT and Solana.
Yeah, no, and you and I are on the same page on that. I mean, I think it's definitely a limited view, and frankly, I think most of it is probably way overblown. But at the same time, as an investor, right, I have to look at worst case downside scenarios. And so we're just slightly concerned at the moment about about, what that might mean for Ren if, FTX and then subsequently Alameda, took a bad nosedive, and it sounds like, Ren would be just fine. I'm curious if you would see any serious impact, slowdowns, etc. Like what would that mean?
No, since Ren Lab has a runway that will last at least a couple of years,
Okay.
nothing would change, at least in the short term. Then long term, you can consider how do we want to fund Ren Labs. That can be funded through volume, through the bridge, going to some kind of foundation that takes over the role of contracting developers and giving out grants. We want to have this kind of Swiss foundation or something like it that can take that responsibility. So it's also decentralized, and it can contract other devs as well to work on protocol level stuff. So it won't just be the Ren Labs team. In short term, nothing would happen.
Okay. No, that's good to know. The 2-year runway piece is key there. So I appreciate that bit of knowledge.
Yeah, hopefully we have Ren 2.0 and Ren Foundation going like in next year. So all of that will boost a new ecosystem on Ren that will generate more volume, more revenue to the DAO, and however we decide to fund the foundation, I think we'll be in a good spot, as we'll have a product that's working, as a platform, an ecosystem that's working. So there's no risk of like money just drying up.
Okay, cool. And I guess I have one more question, and it's relatively naive, but I'll let Wake here ask a question if he wants to, or she.
Or you can ask it.
What in terms of the competitive landscape, like what are you guys seeing at this point? Are there any new like burgeoning competitors coming out of this winter?
I mean, we have the sort of old competitors that are also going through a bear market. Some of them are dying. We're going through it strong. Whether there's any like new competitors, I mean, we have so much headway. We're so ahead of them in terms of building out a technically capable platform. This isn't something you can just build on a like quarter sprint or something. So not really. We have to compete against players like Multichain, Wormhole, Synapse, and those kinds of things. But we're making something a bit unique here with Ren 2.0, having the MPC baked into sort of like an Ethereum system that will be very interoperable with EVM chains, but of course also support the other chains we have integrated, like Solana. So, I mean, I think we have something that will be stronger and better than most competitors, but you never know what the market wants. I mean, we see demand privately for some of the features that we'll have with Ren 2.0, but you never know what's gonna happen. But I feel pretty confident, at least, that we have something that's strong, has a lot of good features that are UX friendly, solves a lot of problems in the crypto space at the moment with all the different chains that exist. And we're not building something that like competes with Ethereum itself. We want to
Yeah.
extend Ethereum's capabilities and the other
Yeah.
chains. So, looking at also, aggregator services, not just trading aggregation, but it can be lending aggregation and derivatives aggregations. Just hooking up more liquidity in the crypto space in a very developer-friendly platform, because almost most chains are EVM. So aside from the Polkadot and the Cosmos ecosystem, which we
Yeah.
hopefully also can provide support for after we've launched Ren 2.0 and Ren EVM.
Yeah, we're of the same mind there. I think I have all of those same views. I just, every once in a while the reason for the question is a number of my industry contacts recently pointed out TBTC. Are you familiar with them?
I mean, yeah, we're familiar with them. They launched a little bit after us, and they got no traction since then. I haven't really been keeping up with what they're doing.
Yeah, it's funny, right? Because just talking about Ren out there, which I do quite a lot. Folks bring up things that they think are competitors, and we dove into TBTC over the last, I don't know, couple of weeks, and frankly, it doesn't look like a competitor at all. But I was simply curious, as I had heard about it from 3 or 4 people in a matter of like 2 weeks, and so I was curious if they were having some sort of resurgence, and I just wasn't aware.
No, I'm not aware, but if it's their like TBTC version 2 thing, that's still just Bitcoin on Ethereum. That's
Yeah,
all.
no, it's
Yeah.
it's a simple bridge. They're just taking a slightly different approach, right? And so they're not building the layer 0 capability, and so really not a competitor from that perspective. But it was just interesting that I heard about the reason I wanted to ask. It was just interesting that I heard about it from multiple people over a short period of time. So I just wasn't sure what was going on there. And while I was on this call, I figured I'd ask.
Yeah, and if TBTC as the token itself gets popular on Ethereum, then we can just be an easier on-ramp for people to mint TBTC, because they can mint RenBTC, which is very simple, and then swap it to TBTC in a curve pool or something. So we could still get volume from TBTC if that ever got successful. Because I know their first version was extremely user not friendly, and I think the second version will be the same.
Yeah. No, I also think they have what, one of the Curve founders behind them.
No, it was one New Cypher guy. I was following New Cypher for a while, and they merged the TBTC group and the New Cypher group.
Cool. That was just a secondary question while I was on. I was more concerned about your opinion on the FTX situation, understanding we know literally nothing, and most of it's probably smoke and not fire.
Yeah, I mean, nothing has changed internally. Seen nothing. Everyone is fine and chill. So
cool. Yeah. Cool. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Yes, I have so one question. I only want to know it from the possibilities is how does it look like when after 2.0, when it's finished on mainnet, everything. I also want to know is, can Ren also connect Cardano from the side, is it feasible? Not if Ren make it, only can REN integrate Cardano from the technical sides after REN 2.0, or it's not possible?
So if you look at the Frost MPC algorithm, you might notice that it's EDDSA and not ECDSA.
Yes,
And
exactly.
Cardano uses EDDSA. So
yes.
you can draw a conclusion on your own. Yeah, it could be done, yeah, because the signing scheme Frost would support any EDDSA chain.
Exactly, and that's the difference from today, because today REN can't do that. That's
Yeah,
correct. Or
yeah, the current MPC algorithm can't support Cardano as an example, but
it's all chains with the EDS. Okay.
yeah, but Frost, it could. Yeah.
That's maybe the reason for yes, maybe also a reason that the team take Frost.
Well, yeah, it's a secure. It has so many benefits over the one that Long and Ross developed previously in 2017 or what it was. Yeah, Frost is it's just a better MPC algorithm, honestly, that lets us have a flexible security level. It won't be 33% as the current one uses. We can set it at any level, so it could be 51%. And it's more scalable. Like it there can be more nodes in the MPC multisig, if that's what you could call that. So you can have thousands of nodes instead of 100 or 200 nodes. So we don't have to do sharding. It just solves so many problems and with very almost no downside. So yeah.
But it's not the quickest. That's right, Frost. The last time I hear with you the whole interview with Ross, and what I heard and understand is that Frost, it's not so the MPC at the start and everything with Frost, you have not so much TPS.
Oh, but it's faster. It's faster than the one that we're using now. It's much faster. He was talking about if you want to do general MPC computations, solve some math problem, for instance.
Yes.
Then you don't want to use that MPC algorithm for it because it's not scalable. It's not efficient. But for signing just private keys, Frost works great. And that's what we need. We just need the signing private keys part. In the future, we might look at other ways to support general MPC computations, but Frost is just a better, more scalable version of the one that we have currently.
So they are very good for the signing of the keys, but
Yeah.
yes, for everything else, yes, you have to research more.
Yeah, or use a different key, or use different MPC protocols for different functions. They could, run in parallel or something. You could have one MPC algorithm to do just securing the cross-chain assets, while you can have another MPC protocol if a market demands some other kind of computation they want to be done in an MPC network.
Yeah, that's nice. So do you know how many? I only know for myself it's Ethereum with Ethereum, and its example with Cardano, with Chema, with the ED. There are more than ESR, more than two cryptos graphs. In the more than two.
I don't know on the top of my head which other chains use EDDSA. But you could Google that, and then you can make your own conclusions. We can obviously still support Ethereum and all the EVM chains and Bitcoin. I know there are other chains that use EDDSA as well, but I don't remember which ones. So those could probably be integrated then as well.
Yes, that's I think the most important is Ethereum, Bitcoin, yes, with ECDSA. Yes, I think Cosmos is also same like Cardano, when I'm right, but I don't know for sure.
I don't think so. Like, we could support Terra as a source chain. That was a Cosmos SDK chain. So I think we can support other Cosmos SDK chains. But I'm not sure if they can have different kinds of signing schemes. But if we wanted to make a Cosmos SDK chain, a host chain, then that's different, because Cosmos doesn't use Solidity contracts. So we'd have to write contracts in whatever language they support. And we haven't developed those kinds of contracts, and that would take a long time to build gateway contracts, and we had to audit them. And so only when there is like a big demand to make like a regular Cosmos chain, a host chain, like until then we won't probably spend resources on that. We will focus on decentralization, REN 2.0, building the REN EVM ecosystem.
Yes, that can also a third-party developer can build this. What you tell me now, it's not also the time that the REN team have to build it. It can also build from other people's, or from when REN have a big community fund, that the community fund can pay the developer and researcher that they build the Cosmos side chains.
Yeah, that's true. Some other third party could write gateway contracts for Cosmos chains.
Yes, it's also important when you see how big the ecosystem from Ethereum is, and yes, how many teams are on Ethereum, what are not the founder of Ethereum, or yes, Arbitrum, ZK Sync, Optimism, they're all an own team and does not have nothing to do with Ethereum. I think that is also the key for REN. many developers build on REN, yes, and not only a few people from REN team.
Yeah, definitely. That's where we want to end up, with separate teams working on the ecosystem. So we really
Yes, and I think
want to launch the REN 2.0 platform so we can get to that stage.
yes. Only important thing is, I think it's very good that you choose EVM, because they are the most developer and everything else. Yes, but I think it's good that the UX is good, it's the security, and yes, so some points are very important, and I think when these points are working well, then the chances are very good that REN can get a lot of attract new developers.
Yeah. Exactly. We start off with REN. We start off with EVM because that's where all the developers are and all the tooling is, and then we can add stuff in the future. if new large developer ecosystems grow on some other architecture.
Yes, but I think for the MPC, when I write it, when I see it in the last development update, the MPC, or no, I think Jess was, he told he's very excited that you can build on EMV an easy app, and the app can connect it to the MPC, and so you get new features into EVM. But the MPC, there's which language you take for the MPC. It's not Solidity, or
No, you would still write it in Solidity because you're asking for the MPC network to provide a signature or sign something. So it's not. It will be very simple for Solidity developers to integrate the EVM feature because it's just about making contract calls or sending some data to the MPC network to do something with. You're not writing anything specific to the MPC thing. It's more like I don't know how you can say it. It's like the MPC thing is like a calculator or something. You just send it the data in, and then it gives you an output, and you can do that sending in and out with just your same old regular Solidity contracts.
Okay, but later on, I think when you really, or when you're doing what Susrud also said, when you can have a completely MPC platform with every privacy things, I think then you also write contracts directly on the MPC, or that's the same. It can only be copied with EVM and Solidity.
I don't think also in those cases that you would need to write something in the MPC thing. Like maybe there's something that needs to be added to the MPC module to support some new function, but I don't think developers have to worry about that. They would still, like, even if, say, someone is want to build a dark pool on Ren 2.0, they won't be making changes to the MPC module or write a program that has to interface with the MPC module. It's the same thing. They write something in Solidity that just uses the MPC module to sign or compute. Yeah, sign some data.
Okay. So that you have that is the difficult part when we'll abstract it from the user and the developer.
Yeah, like everything about the MPC module is just abstracted. So when you write applications and Solidity, it will be very easy for it to call the MPC module.
Also, you have the full functionality of them, but you don't have the complicated with writing and coding. So you have all possibilities, but the easy way with Solidity and EVM.
Yeah, and it's very easy to create some kind of like example Solidity contracts on how to use those functions from the MPC module. So we'll have that as well posted so people can just use those contract structures. In the same way, like OpenZeppelin has a smart contract library, so people can easily build smart contracts. We'll have probably some similar contract library, so you can just start building based on some standardized contracts that we provide on how to use the MPC module. To make it as easy as possible. for builders.
Oh, that's nice. Yes, that's all. I think that's also one of the important parts that's easy for the developer. That's make, I think, in the end the big difference. Because when it's complicated or you have to worry about with or gas and it's expensive, yes, then you see it. Many people don't build on Ethereum because it's too expensive or not scalable. Yes, you see it. What happens when it's not perfect?
Yeah, and that's also why we're all the work that we're doing in Catalog, building a gas relayer, so people don't have to worry about gas. Those things will also be available to developers, so they can, use all of these cool tools that we'll provide, so they can just focus on their application that they want to build. They don't have to build any things on their own. They can copy the things that take care of gas and take care of the MPC integrations. So it should be very simple to, as simple as possible to build on the Run EVM layer.
What has it to do with Catalog? Because you said with Catalog.
So because for Catalog, to give the best experience on Catalog, the Catalog team has developed some nice features, UX features, like users not having to worry about gas. So there is a gas relay
Okay.
service that Catalog uses, and that will be available to other developers as well, I think.
Okay. So that's yes, that Catalog is a test for Run EVM.
And Catalog will also provide a lot of liquidity to the Run EVM layer, so that will also benefit developers a lot. So we definitely think it will help. Like DeFi didn't really start until Uniswap was out. Before Uniswap, we had EtherDelta, IDEX, some very weird dexes on Ethereum that aren't used anymore. Then Uniswap came, or Banker came first, but then Uniswap did the same thing without the native token. And when that started, when there started to be liquidity on chain, people could start building the DeFi ecosystem out of that, and we'll already have sort of Catalog live on Run EVM when Run 2.0 is out. So this will enable, the creation of applications on Catalog from the start, because you'll have liquidity that you can tap into. Without liquidity,
Yes,
you can't build a lending application if there's no liquidity on chain to liquidate positions that are underwater, for instance. So you always need liquidity first, and Catalog will help with that, and then everything can take off from there.
Yeah, that's nice. So one last question for me after I have to go to dinner. With the release for Ren 2.0 and that people should come to Ren, know Ren, and build on Ren, are you actually in contact with other big partners besides Alameda like Coinbase or IBC, or do you don't see it that's important? Like a big partner can attract many developers from my side, or you said no, that's not very important.
The important thing is to have some way to incentivize developers to come. So that's why the funding thing and the inflation and the foundation, that's why those things are important, because you can partner up with people, but at the end of the day, you need incentives to bring products to your chain. So yeah, that's the real way to get people building on your chain, to have some kind of incentives. So that's why we want to have something like Ren token incentives through inflation to attract new developers to show up, using vested token, vested release schedule or something. You can make that in a smart way that sort of incentivize developers to provide value for as long as possible, so they won't dump the tokens.
Okay, so but since you don't have contacts,
I mean, we have contact with some, people here and there, but I can't talk about that publicly, because you never know if a partnership succeeds or not. Of course, we're talking to the partners that we have currently, and we're looking for others. But at the end of the day, we need some kind of incentives to bring anyone here. So
okay, but you have yes, you don't spell a name, but you have partners for attracting or inviting people, and then that the people stay with Ren and building. You need the implementation model.
yeah, or I mean, the incentives can be the thing that brings people here that we have never talked to before previously. Like, there are probably tons of projects that would build on Ren that we haven't talked to before, if there is some incentive program for people to deploy. As this is Ren EVM, it will be very easy for people to just fork a protocol and deploy it directly on Ren, so it will be very simple for people to do so. So
Okay,
that's
yes.
also a reason why it should be pretty easy to bootstrap DeFi ecosystem on Ren EVM. But then we have those cool MPC features and cross-chain features that will draw in more like unique projects, and we're on the lookout for those, and we have to do more marketing on specifically those features, to bring in some of the sort of unique projects that can
Yes,
only
yes.
exist on Ren.
Yes. Okay, perfect. Thank you very much.